Nina Lin has quickly become one of my least favorite streamers, which is an impressive accolade considering how few streams I watch these days. She really speedran this. Her and Jack Doherty occupy a very special place online of just being highly unlikable, annoying, insufferable assholes. And in Nina Lin's case, it's exceptionally frustrating considering she has broadcast herself sexually assaulting a man before, and then even treating it as a joke later on, even after like some fucking crocodile tears about how she understands that it was wrong or whatever, or why people might think it was bad. She herself has kind of made light of it since then. So, sexual assault superstar Nina Lin has continued to stream even after broadcasting that crime, and her content's only really elevated since then. She's broadcast more crimes, and today she's been banned for her third time in 6 weeks. You couldn't hit me in the head with a sledgehammer enough times to make me delusional enough to believe that Twitch is permanently banning her. My hunch is that this will be 3 days, or potentially up to a week. Tops. Absolute maximum I see this being is a week, and that's if all the stars align and Dan Clancy stops gooning for a minute to maybe try and, like, keep her stream down for a little bit to try and maybe put on a strong face of teaching her a lesson. But it won't be permanent. I think Twitch has made it very clear they don't actually take sexual assault that seriously when it's a woman doing it to a man. That is kind of the impression that a lot of people walk away from now, considering what Nina Lin has done. She is the sexual assault superstar and has now quickly become the face of degeneracy on Twitch, and they don't seem to mind. So, I want to show you a few clips since the sexual assault, which I already made a video going over, that are showcasing some of the lowlights that she proudly broadcasts on Twitch. We'll go ahead and start with the obvious. This is what people think is the reason behind her ban, where she stole items from Target on stream, and then when people in chat were speculating whether or not she actually stole them, she made sure to confirm that she indeed did steal those Target items, and in fact has stolen many more that you guys don't know about, which she openly just admits to and says, get fucked.
Oh no, he's wildin'. I'm telling you, bro, even if it was the stakes, bro, yo, bro, ain't nobody missing no fucking money, bitch. Calm the fuck down. No Target is not losing no type of fucking money from some stakes, bitch. Right? Ass fucking bum ass steaks. I don't give a shit. Man, if I put this on Twitter too. Your mom's a bitch, you was a bitch, and happy holidays, all you hoes is bitches.
A Shakespearean way with words. It is miserable listening to her struggle to throw together sentences because she is constantly in this persona where she's trying to portray a character that's like so tough and no nonsense, bitch that, fuck that, and that's all she ever says, so everything that leaves her mouth has to have that same like bravado to it. Oh my god, it's so cringe. She's so desperate to appear tough and uncaring, unfiltered. Yeah, she'll get a little crude, but that's Nina Lin's brand, baby. She tells it like it is. That's sexual assault superstar Nina Lin right there in all her glory.
Good, put that on Twitter. I bet you won't. I bet you won't. Just put that on Twitter. I bet you won't. Yeah. No. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck, bitch. I don't give a fuck. Happy holidays, whores. Yo, like, I don't give a shit. Oh, hold on. Oh, matter of fact, you want to make a news? I got these from Target too, guys. Look, I got these from Target too. Guess how much I paid? $3.99. Get mad, bitch.
Good one, Nina. A real slam dunk. Also, nothing says not giving a fuck quite like feeling the need to remind people of it constantly. The amount of times she has to reiterate she doesn't give a fuck kind of makes me think she does actually care. That just doesn't really seem like the behavior of someone that really doesn't, if she is just constantly having to say that.
So we call on Monday.
Oh, ma'am. Damn.
Oh. And the language that you're using in front of a 13-year-old, I don't appreciate either.
This is a public space. I'm gonna let you know that right now, man. This is a public space, you know, so.
Well, and we wait our turn like grown-ups.
No,
in a
100%.
public space.
And I'm just letting you know that, you know, sometimes you can also ask, hey, would you like to please use normal language in front of my daughter? That would have been great, too.
I think in a public space, we kind of have an understanding.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, that wall is blocked, you know.
Well, I appreciate you cleaning it up now.
Oh, of course. Like, I just don't think there's an issue. You know, not everything has to be
This is like...
Just like the most Karen argument. I cannot.
I don't know, I just don't really think it's a big Karen moment here, to be honest with you, Nina. She was pretty polite in asking you to just maybe pump the brakes on those sentence enhancers you like to toss around loosey-goosey, considering her daughter is right there and is a child. Also, you're in a fucking nail salon where people are supposed to be going to relax, and instead now you're in there filming and being just like a giant, annoying pest. I think it's pretty reasonable to just ask you to maybe have a little bit of class there. But I don't know, maybe I'm on the crack pipe. This is Nina's world and we're all just props in it, obviously. You know what? I already see the error of my ways here. Who are we to question sexual assault superstar Nina Lynn on how she conducts herself and her behavior?
I appreciate the apology.
Great.
Oh shit.
1, 2.
Sir, do not be recording.
I'm saying that. It's just me. That's me. We got no one else on that. We can't do that either.
Yeah.
1, 2. We have to.
Yes, yeah.
Right. We have to do that. Yeah. Right. Fuck. Bitch. Shit.
I don't know what's more pathetic in this clip, her or the guy she points to pretending to laugh really hard at this so that way he can get a crumb of attention from Nina Lynn. Both are really bad, but I think Nina Lynn's probably still more of a sad specimen. Very good one again, Nina. Her comedy stylings are top tier. Did you see the way she said fuck, bitch, and shit there? Because, the joke, just to explain the joke, it's a bit of a thinking man's joke. That mother asked her to not do that around children. And even the employee here of the business asked her not to film them. And Nina Lynn pretends they weren't filming them. Even though I saw the employees, I saw everyone that wasn't Nina Lynn too. She was filming everybody else as well. Despite what she lied to them saying that it's just her. It's not. It wasn't. But don't worry, according to Nina Lynn, this business is actually her playground. It's a public space, according to Nina Lynn. She can do whatever the fuck she wants in here, baby.
Work around here, and like y'all are affecting my livelihood.
No, Dad,
You're
what's your
affecting? What is my issue?
Yo, what's the problem?
That y'all are coming
Dad,
in
what's the
here
problem?
and you're causing
Who are you? And who are you? Do you own this one? Do you own this one?
Do I know? No.
Oh man, you actually got to see it in real time there. The moths to the flame. These vermin. These fucking parasites. They smelt conflict and they came over with their fucking lights and selfie sticks because that's content, baby. So Nina Lynn, her heart is beating. She knows she's got a clip on her hands because now she's going to argue with this woman who is expressing her concern over them being disruptive. Apparently, background is she viewed their behavior like this big group of people as like a nuisance and being disruptive. So she confronted them directly about it. But I'm gonna be honest, sports fans, I don't think she knows the pickle she's about to find herself in. She has now just started an unskippable cutscene with the sexual assault superstar Nina Lynn, and it's about to get messy.
What's your issue? No, what's your issue, Dad?
What's my issue?
Because you pressing me for no reason. You pressing me for no reason. What's your problem? Are you good, bro? Are you dead ass good?
Yeah. Hey, on fucking camera.
What's up?
I'm surrounded
You're
by
weird as
20
fuck.
of you.
You're weird as fuck.
Victim now. She's not your victim. Look over
You want to act like a victim? You want to act like a victim? Is that what you want to do?
And
Watching Nina and her posse handle anything is just... It's worse than nails on a chalkboard. It is hard to sit still because it is just so unbelievably annoying. So now they're like surrounding this woman here and all talking at once, and Nina's like threatening, "Do you want the smoke?" Like, oh my god.
No, you're not. I'll tell you one thing. I smack the shit out of you, bitch.
what happened is that y'all come in
For real. Weird ass bitch. She's a weird ass. Hold on, bro. Go on. And I used to work too, bitch. So what's up? So what's up?
And if there's any justice in the world, Nina, those days will be upon us again, with you getting another job that's not streaming. Maybe I'm wrong and this is a permanent ban. That would be a joyous celebration. But anyway, you can see in the comfort of her huge group here, she feels very confident to threaten to smack the shit out of this woman, all because she dared say like she didn't appreciate this huge group filming and what they were doing there. And to Nina, those are fighting words. So she even breaks free like a dog off its leash in order to get right back up in her face angry. And then it continues for like another minute or so with just Nina steaming, angry, upset because this woman dared say like, hey, you being this loud and obnoxious is affecting me and like the business here, which I think is a pretty reasonable take based on everything I've seen here, especially with the way the group handles it, where they all come over, fucking cameras in face, lights in face, just constantly insulting her and everything, trying to make her like the joke to the stream for Nina's content. It's so fucking unbearably cringe. I really hope she stays banned. I just know that's not going to happen. Would love to be proven wrong though, Twitch. I guess we'll see. I'm sure if she's unbanned, she will continue to go back to committing crimes on streams. She loves to do that, it seems, and Twitch loves to turn the other cheek to it and pretend it's not happening. Anyway, I guess that's kind of all I wanted to talk about with this, so that's really about it. See ya. Like a jar of peanut butter in the top shelf cabinet in my kitchen, I just can't get it. I truly don't understand what is going on with Twitch that just leads them to making the worst decisions so brazenly. Like, they have to have the orb of confusion somewhere in the office up there, and it is just wreaking havoc on their brains. It is incomprehensible. There is a streamer, her name is Nina. She has on stream, on Twitch, twice now, sexually assaulted people. I'll show you the clips because it is textbook sexual assault. And she was banned for 1 day, initially. She got a 24-hour slap on the wrist, and then she was unbanned. Which you can kind of write off maybe as a mistake on Twitch's end, like they didn't mean to unban her. Maybe someone was pulling some levers in the HQ, not knowing what they did. You had someone fucking blasting away at the buttons and accidentally unbanned her because she was banned shortly thereafter again. And I think every sensible person with a functioning frontal lobe expected that to be a permanent ban because she I'm Porky Pigging right now. She sexually assaulted 2 people on stream, on their platform. If you don't take that seriously, what the fuck are you going to take seriously? It's a crime. It's sexual assault. So everyone expected that one to be an indefinite ban. But it was only a week. She is now unbanned and she's already done a return stream. So it seems like Twitch truly only gave her a week vacation here. That's crazy. A week-long timeout. Pretty close to that scene in SpongeBob where they steal a balloon on Free Balloon Day and the cops put them behind bars for 3 seconds saying, if you can't do the time, don't do the crime, and then, oh, you're free to go. That, for sexual assault, is unbelievable.
Oh my God. Saeed. Hey, come here. I got you. Saeed, come here.
Zoe, you can't. Zoe, you can't.
23,
No.
he's consensual.
No, he's not consenting.
Yes, he is.
He's not even saying nothing.
He likes it. Yeah,
He's not-
give.
Oh, no.
I don't think he wants to.
Yeah, stay right there. Stay right there. Stay right there. Stay right there. Hold on.
That was the clip that started it. Saeed is his name. He was not consenting to any of this, and Nina is the one that's like holding him while her friend twerks on him. And his friends are even saying he's not consenting to this, and they do not care. They are forcing it upon him. And this is just a piece of a longer clip, and in the longer clip, they throw him on the bed and start, like, trying to rip at his clothes. They also take his bag and start going through his bag. And this whole time, he is making it very clear he does not want this, and he is uncomfortable with it.
No! Nah, they got it.
Take all of this off. Take it off. Hey, yo, cut the cameras. Cut the cameras. Yo, cut the cameras, bro. Zo, do your shit. Let me get my Louis Vuitton scarf. Hold on, bitch. No outside clothes on the bed. Hold on. What's going on?
You can't just forcibly
Hey,
take it.
nah, it ain't like it's
Let me get that bag. Let me get that bag. This is a nice bag. Hold on, this is a nice bag.
Yo!
How much this cost? Turn around. Start off with the side.
Yo.
Oh, I need this. I needed this. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Zoe, he's not consenting.
Pretty clear-cut sexual assault here. You don't need to be Phoenix Wright here in order to argue why this is sexual assault. It's obvious. Yet, and this is something we've talked about in the past, a lot of people, when it comes to a man being sexually assaulted, take it very differently. So I saw when this clip was blowing up, and a lot of people I know, I've already talked about this because I'm tardy to the party, but I'm just so shocked that Twitch is not taking this seriously. A lot of people were talking about how it's actually not sexual assault. It's clear he's laughing. He's going along with it. It's for content. No, it's not sexual assault. He's having a good time. In fact, he wanted it. And that's something that you see a lot when it comes to sexual assault against men, where people say, like, it's not serious, don't be a bitch. A woman can't sexually assault a man because a man always wants sex. So this is a nothing burger. You guys are making a mountain out of a molehill. This isn't sexual assault at all. It's just good old-fashioned Twitch content, baby. And Nina herself even says how embarrassing it would be for a man like Saeed to say that this was sexual assault.
So what if he says, I feel like you did some shit wrong?
No, so the whole Saeed thing, no one essay Saeed. That's why today I was actually looking for Saeed. I was going to talk to him because he definitely felt disrespected as a person. Me, I take accountability what I do. If you dead ass felt disrespected, I didn't know. So you gotta let me know. If you did, I will always apologize. I mean, that's just normal people. But for him to walk around and say all that crazy shit, you never think about what Saeed's thinking too, though. Like, who wants to walk around being called that? That's embarrassing for him as a guy.
You ain't see Saeed today?
No, I was looking for him. I was looking everywhere for him.
Wow, what an angel. Pretty watertight defense right there. Checkmate. The fucking last few neurons remaining in her brain really scrambling there to come up with the perfect cope, and damn did she hit a home run with that one. So she is saying, oh, he didn't get sexually assaulted. Oh, okay, well, if you say so, all right. You would know, of course, yeah, no. It doesn't matter what he thinks happened. You're saying he didn't get sexually assaulted, so then it must not have happened. You're right. And then she goes on to say, like, you have to think about it. Like, it'd be very embarrassing for him as a man. Wow. Is that so, Nina? Interesting. Do you keep that same energy when it comes to women that get sexually assaulted? Do you say the same thing? Like, oh, it'd be very embarrassing. She treats it like it's no big deal. She did nothing wrong. Rub some dirt in it, dweeb. Get over it. That's how she handles it. But I imagine if it was two guys who did this exact same thing to a girl on stream, if it played out exactly the same, there would be universal condemnation across the board, including from Nina herself, I imagine, and rightfully so, because... Stand back, brave take coming in. Plug your ears if you're not ready for the spicy take. Sexual assault is bad. I know. If you were standing up, you're gonna need to sit down, holy. It doesn't matter if it's a female or male victim, sexual assault in all of its forms is horrible. And everyone should be outraged and against it. So why do we treat it differently because it was two girls that did it to a guy? It is still sexual assault, and I can't believe we are still having this conversation about, like, sexual assault against men not being taken seriously. It's not a unicorn. It's not make-believe. This isn't the fucking tooth fairy we're talking about. It is a real thing, and there are male victims of sexual assault. Like, I can't believe that even needs to be said, but I guess Twitch needs a reminder that it is a crime. Like, anyone who is a victim of sexual assault is the victim of a crime.
I didn't want it to, like, them being banned is not really anything to me, because at the end of the day, like, sexual assault is a crime. And people that say that it's not sexual assault, I don't know what you think sexual assault is, or anything like that, but I don't know what to tell you. Like, as a person that's literally dealt with sexual assault previously, it has taken a lot. Like a large total on my head. I've dealt with something like this before, and I didn't want to. When I dealt with it originally, I was working at a job, and it was a gym, and I told my boss about it, and all he did was make jokes about it. And I tried to talk about it a lot more, and I didn't want to tell my parents, and it did affect me a lot. And this situation did bring back those memories.
This is Saeed being very open here, talking about what's unfolded, even mentioning that he's gone through a previous sexual assault situation in his past where it wasn't taken seriously then. His boss was making jokes about it, and it took a toll on him. And now, in this case, it seems like Twitch itself is not taking it seriously and treating it like it's a joke, considering Nina was only banned for a week. They slapped her in detention for a week, and now it's all sunshine and rainbows for her. She's back streaming again. And let me tell you, in her return stream, it's very clear she's learned her lesson. I think the week-long, benching here from Twitch has really helped put it all into perspective for her. You can see how apologetic she is and how remorseful she is for her actions.
Let me high, right? Oh, what the fuck, yo? Why you always hitting me? Stop with those punches. Oh shit, I can't touch you no more because I have to make a sign of NDA. Sorry, I forgot. Yeah, that's gonna be tough, bro. It's gonna come up 3 months later. I won't come. Oh, me punch you? You want me to punch you? Are you okay?
Did you send that NDA or no?
You sure? So I am not sexually assaulting you.
No.
I am not. You consent to this.
Yes.
You fully am okay with this.
Yes.
You will not use this clip against me later in 3 months later.
Never.
Or 9 months later.
No.
Or 6 months later.
No.
No? Hey, chat sees this, bro. Ready? Alright.
Okay.
Ready? 1. You asked for this. Nod your head. 2 times. Did you get it? Okay.
Wait, can I say something?
Damn.
Wait, can I say something?
Damn.
Listen, can I say something?
This seems like a real hoot and a holler. Man, she seems like a lot of fun to be around. So, I don't even know why she even threw out the word NDA. She has no idea what that is. I bet if you asked Nina what a non-disclosure agreement is or what it's for, she would just fucking blue screen. But the reason she's saying that is because she's just trying to insult everyone that made a big deal out of her sexually assaulting Saeed. And I haven't even shown you the other victim yet. I'm saving that till the end. But she's just treating it like it's no big deal. Like, oh, I guess I just can't touch people anymore. Not without like an NDA, I guess. And then this dude over here, this goober, I don't know if he's hiding his face out of embarrassment or shame, but if that is the case, I'd see why. Because that's pretty pathetic to be begging to be punched by this lady just for a crumb of attention. But yeah, that was her return stream, a real highlight moment from it. Some other really great tiddlywinks are when she's being mad at her friends for switching up on her after the sexual assault clip surfacing, where she was mad that they didn't fight tooth and nail for her honor, even though her actions are indefensible to a normal, sane person. So obviously her friends aren't going to go to bat for her, I imagine, or at least they shouldn't. Like, I don't care if you're her best friend, you should be able to come out and say, like, yep, that's fucked up, that is sexual assault. I don't support what's happened there. And she's getting mad that people did exactly that. Like, her friends were like, nope, that's unacceptable. She expected them to just be like, no, you guys are misunderstanding. And then she goes in to be, like, upset that they weren't texting her to get her side of the story, even though there's no sides. It is sexual assault, no matter how you spin it. You can try and feign ignorance until the cows come home. It doesn't change the fact that what you did is still textbook sexual assault. Just because you are a woman who did it to a man doesn't mean that it doesn't count.
You ready?
Yeah, go ahead, Nina.
Alright.
Okay, Fred.
Not that bad.
I know. Concentrating on the bug.
Okay, girl.
No, Nina. Oh my. Wow, you have the best masseuse, Toast.
Good.
That was good.
Wow, she is so bold.
My spine.
You love to see it.
I'm sorry.
Alright.
So bold, so bold. Yep, keep it up.
Push. Push.
Yep. Good job, Nina.
So Toast shared his experience with Nina, where he went there expecting a professional masseuse, only to be met by a stranger named Nina, the fucking boogeyman here, coming up and giving him this massage, where she was very clearly making a joke of it by just, like, groping him, like just grabbing on his ass cheeks there. Like, she was grabbing those things like fucking motorcycle handles. It's not an accident, it's not unintentional. She didn't just like wander down there while trying to give a legitimate massage. She is literally honking on his butt cheeks. And people are laughing about it, making light of the whole thing, like, Nina, oh my goodness, ha 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 ha. It's sexual assault. If that was a man that did that to a woman that was lying on that table, how many people would be laughing? Probably not very many. I imagine it'd be crickets for the most part. It'd be more silent than a James Corden stand-up routine. There wouldn't be a lot of laughter. It wouldn't really be viewed as a holly jolly good time. I imagine most people would immediately try and say, like, stop or step in, put the kibosh on it, but not here. Here, it's just treated as a joke. But why? Just because it is Nina doing this to a man, Toast, it doesn't make it not sexual assault. And in Toast's statement, he even says he has no idea who she was at the time. She just stepped in, did this. He was extremely uncomfortable, but didn't say anything in the moment because there's a bunch of cameras in his face, and it's hard to try and, like, speak up in front of that because then it creates a tense situation. So it's an extra level of fear where it's hard to speak out and express, negative feelings in a case like this because, well, maybe now the streamers there view you as the bad guy, or the chat starts attacking you or something, so it makes it very difficult, and it's something Toast briefly mentioned, and it's something that I've seen expressed numerous times in the past about, like, you know? It was hard to say anything in the moment because of all these cameras and all these people watching. And it's very true. Again, if this was a man that was doing this to a woman lying on that table, a complete stranger, just starts, you know, honking on her butt cheeks there, how many people would be laughing? Probably none. It shouldn't be treated differently in this case. This was still a non-consensual sexual act that was performed on Toast and Saeed that is not being taken seriously. She received a week-long ban, and that's it. And it's not like she herself has digivolved into a better person or anything, you know, learned her lesson, expressed any real level of remorse or anything like that. She is still treating it as content. Like, just the idea of her sexual assault is now a joke on her stream. Like, oh, I just can't touch people anymore. I'll have to NDA you, tee-hee-hee. That's crazy to me. That is just crazy. I know she issued an apology statement not long ago, which I think is pretty blatantly obvious, not her words. I think that was farted out through an actual PR firm, because I don't think she is capable of something like that. I'll stop blabbering here in just a moment, but it is so wild to me how little Twitch did here, and how little they seem to care about what's happened on their platform here. In the past, they've made plenty of questionable bans and unbans. Like having full-blown sex, penetrative sex on stream was a 3-day ban. And many other such cases of similar things, like that lady who full-blown spread her butthole goatsy style on stream, only being 24 hours, stuff like that. But this is something so different from that, where that sexual content is something that shouldn't be allowed on Twitch and isn't by their own rules, and they don't seem to really enforce them all that well. This is literally not even just against their rules, it is against the law. Sexual assault, again, is illegal, and it has been broadcast on Twitch twice with this woman, Nina Lynn, being the sexual assaulter. And they only give her a week ban for it. This is unlike anything I've seen from Twitch in the past. It is truly shocking. And I'll leave you with one more clip from Saint Nina here. You remember how I called this week ban basically a vacation? Well, it's not just my words. She also views it that way as well.
W-chat. I want to say W-chat. So all the haters out there, y'all can suck my dick. Word 2, I don't give a fuck. Fuck you bitches, bro. You bitches not me. Y'all been through nothing that I've been through. Fuck you. This ain't the worst it's ever been. I'm not gonna lie. It's bad to say, but this is not the worst it's ever been. I've been through worse. I've actually been through worse. So this jail was kind of like vacay jail a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, bro.
Nice work, Twitch. Vacay jail for sexual assault. Unbelievable. Anyway, that's really about it. So, yep. There's a lot I want to talk about here after seeing what happened at TwitchCon last night with Emiru being assaulted by a rogue lunatic fan who just walked completely unimpeded past the line at her meet and greet and unconsensually hugged her and looked like tried to kiss her, which is textbook assault. And it's very scary that it was able to happen so easily here. He was shoved off by a security guard, but then he just walked away.
Whoa. That's crazy. Holy shit, what the fuck was that?
You're a creep!
What
The full clip goes on for about a minute and a half longer, but you've now seen the entire security presence here for the Emiru meet and greet. One person. One security guard. I have seen a stronger security presence at my dilapidated local Winn-Dixie. This is fucking crazy. One guy. And also, worth mentioning, it's not Emiru's preferred bodyguard from what I understand.
I had a security guard 2 years ago where there was a guy following me around TwitchCon, and he like asked him to stop multiple times. My guard asked him and the guy wouldn't stop, so he grabbed the guy, but he didn't like hurt him. He was just holding the guy until like the con security came. And then for some reason they're like, yeah, because your security guard touched him, he's like permabanned from the venue forever. But he didn't even hit him or anything. He just like held him while they waited for like the police to come. And
What the fuck?
And it was like my favorite security guard. I can't have him at TwitchCon anymore.
Now, as I was rendering this video, Emiru posted an update to everything to shed light on everything that happened. And this bodyguard you see push that guy is someone she hired. It's not her first round draft pick or anything. It is not her preferred bodyguard, but it's who she was allowed to bring. And she was surrounded is the word I'm using, very loosey-goosey. There was like a couple of other Twitch-provided Fiverr security drones elsewhere that just didn't react at all. The only one who did something was the one she hired. We're going to be going through her statement quite a bit here, but she's giving an update to let people know that she's okay and thankful for the outpouring of support. The guy had crossed multiple barriers, even in front of other creators, to grab and try and kiss her, which he was unsuccessful at doing, thanks to being pushed off. She then says that she doesn't understand how he was allowed to get that far in the first place, and that the security that does react is her own, confirming that it's not her usual security guard since he was banned. She then says that there were 3 to 4 other TwitchCon security who didn't react and even let him walk away, which, again, is something you can confirm by watching the clip that he just walks away completely unimpeded. The woman who was walking me away is also her own personal manager. It's not even event staff, which I thought it was event staff. Turns out it's not. The only 2 people who were checking on her and comforting her were her and her friend. Not even Twitch staff was coming to check on her. There's more in her statement we're going to get to in a moment, but I want to go in chunks here. So, I thought it was 1 security guard and then a couple of event staff that you could see in the clip. Turns out it's 1 security guard she brought, and then no event staff. It's just her manager and her friend. So where the fuck is TwitchCon security or staff at all here? They just let this guy walk up to her and did nothing, and even just let him get away after assaulting her too. Again, I still cannot even believe they banned the security guard that she wanted to bring and had brought in the past that did successfully prevent a potential threat from harming her. It's so fucked up, and I truly can't understand the thought process behind their decision to ban him in the first place. He did his job properly. He held the potential threat until authorities arrived. What else are you supposed to do? That's like the number one thing. You're supposed to stop the threat. And that sounds like exactly what he did here. I think maybe Twitch was concerned that he used excessive force or something because he grabbed him. What? Like, what do they think? He put him into a headlock and then hit him with an atomic power bomb into a fucking tombstone pile driver and then a Frankensteiner on the way out? Like, what do they think happened there? Now, I've read mixed things on who's responsible for that bodyguard being banned, whether it was Twitch or the venue TwitchCon is held at. But regardless of who's responsible for the ban, the fact that he is forbidden from being there because of being good at his job is just unacceptable. This guy walks past this entire line, literally just fucking fee-fi-fo-fums through the whole line here at the meet and greet, and assaults Emiru. Nobody stopped him when he was cutting through the line, and it wasn't until he had already assaulted Emiru that he got pushed off. And then he didn't even get stopped or anything by additional security because there was only that one guy that was there as like a bodyguard. Like, I don't know, I would just kind of expect after a fucking assault just unfolded here, there would be a big response from the TwitchCon security personnel. Like coming over here throwing like a spike strip down or like at least throwing a banana peel down so he slips and falls on it so they can apprehend him. But I didn't see any of that happen. Nothing at all, just fucking crickets. Just tumbleweed rolling through here. Like, he just walked away. Apparently, he did get ID'd, like, after this happened later, because Twitch made a statement, which we'll go through in a minute, and it sounds like they ID'd the guy and everything. But this is a complete failure on Twitch's shoulders here for their event. They banned her preferred bodyguard, whom has previously demonstrated the ability to stop something like this from happening, and instead supplied non-existent TwitchCon security around her meet and greet, and forced her to hire a different bodyguard, one that wasn't nearly as efficient as the one that she typically uses and wanted to have present here to protect her. And just stew on this for a moment, because when you break it down, TwitchCon security literally did nothing. Not only did they not stop the guy before he assaulted Emiru, again, it could have even been a murder or something if he had like a weapon or something. He was not stopped despite plenty of, ample opportunity for them to intervene. Not only did they not stop him, After it happened, they didn't even pursue him. The only one who acted at all, that one security guard, was not a TwitchCon security guard. It was someone Emiru hired, a bodyguard she hired. That was the only person that acted at all. And the only people that checked on Emiru were her team. No one on the TwitchCon event side of things, apparently, according to Emiru. So that means at TwitchCon, the security didn't do anything at all, nor did the event staff do anything to even check on her after this happened. Holy shit. That is inexcusable. I've talked about events and stuff in the past. I've never been to TwitchCon. I have no plans of ever going to TwitchCon or anything even remotely similar to it. And I've always expressed, A, I don't think I'd have fun, and B, I'm always worried about events like that, like legitimate safety concerns. Ever since the Christina Grimmie tragedy, where she was murdered at a meet and greet, I just have a huge hesitation with this kind of thing. Because you never really know who's there and what security looks like. I know prior to TwitchCon, apparently there was a big emphasis on Twitch's side of beefing up their security. I'm not seeing that at all. The proof is not in the pudding here from what I'm seeing. It's extremely concerning that this creep was able to just walk up slowly, mind you. It's not like he charged the stage or something, with a fucking 4-second 40 where they couldn't respond in time. He slowly, calmly walked past everyone. Security, event staff, no one stopped him at all. Like, shit, I got stopped more often trying to go to a lacrosse party in college. Like, they were more vigilant about stopping people from getting into a fucking party, let alone, the actual safety of the guests here at this event. It is just crazy to me because this guy could have had a weapon. He absolutely could have had a weapon. It is just dangerous. It is dangerous, and it's a complete failure on Twitch's part here. Now, like I said, they did make a statement about this. The safety and security of all those attending TwitchCon is our highest priority. The behavior displayed by the individual involved in the incident yesterday involving a high-profile streamer was completely unacceptable and deeply upsetting. In line with existing TwitchCon security protocols, law enforcement and event security were on site and responded to the incident. When? In 7 business days? Where were they? Because, again, in the longer clip, it's 2.5 minutes, and he just walks away. You can see him leaving, and I maybe I missed it, but I didn't see anyone stopping him at any point. We immediately blocked this individual from returning to the TwitchCon premises, and they are banned indefinitely from Twitch, both online and in-person events. We're coordinating with the impacted creators team, and per our standard protocols, continue to cooperate with any law enforcement investigations. We have increased security at the meet and greet attendee check-in point, and we'll have additional security personnel surrounding participating streamers. If you've RSVP'd for a meet and greet, please note that we are unable to accommodate +1s for the remainder of the event. Twitch has zero tolerance for harassment or acts that inhibit the safety and security of our community. Like I said, based on their statement here, it sounds as though they ID'd the guy responsible for this assault here, mentioning that he's been banned on Twitch and from the events. It sounds like there's also going to be additional follow-ups, I believe. That's how it read to me. Now, as a result of the assault that Emiru experienced at their event, they are going to be having a stronger security presence at further meet and greets that are scheduled. The question begs to be asked, why wasn't that an emphasis beforehand? You're saying that safety was your top priority, yet it's very clear, very evident in this clip that there's not a lot of security there. So what are you doing about safety? I don't understand. If safety's such a high priority, where's security? I don't know why it's so lackluster then if it's such a high priority. And again, this is a huge streamer. Emiru is one of the biggest streamers. What does security look like for streamers that aren't her size? I genuinely have no idea. It's a legitimate question I'm asking because, again, Emiru is one of the biggest streamers, and TwitchCon didn't have any adequate security presence at her meet and greet. What does it look like for a smaller streamer doing a meet and greet? Did they provide anything at all to them? And also, what they do provide is basically anyway, nothing. The security didn't act at all here. So now let's go back to Emiru's statement, because she says something very interesting here about Twitch's statement. In Twitch's statement, they said that the guy was immediately caught and detained. Sorry, but that is a blatant lie. He was allowed to walk away from my meet and greet, and I didn't hear he was caught until hours after he attacked me, and it felt like this only happened because of my manager pressing for it, not because TwitchCon staff present thought it was a big deal. She mentions there's more she wants to talk about on it, but will save it for stream. She then goes on to thank people for the support and confirms that this will be her last TwitchCon, which I think is completely understandable. I think other creators should seriously consider not attending in the future. I did not feel cared for or protected, even bringing my own security and staff. I can't imagine how creators without those options would feel. So according to Imiru's statement here, she believes that the guy wasn't like immediately caught and ID'd by TwitchCon staff or anything like that. And in fact, it wasn't until her manager pressed them for action that they did anything at all. That's unhinged. They didn't want to, you know, jump into action after a fucking assault just took place. I just don't get it. That's completely unhinged. It almost feels like maybe they're more angry about Imiru's bodyguard there shoving the guy. Like maybe they're thinking about banning him from Twitch events in the future or something. Like it doesn't seem like their priority is safety. If they were going to just let this guy walk away until Imiru's manager had to force their hand to do something, this is just not a safe environment. And this isn't a new criticism of TwitchCon. This has been consistently something that people have spoken out about for years with TwitchCon. Like, I'm sure a lot of you have heard the horror stories that have been reported numerous times in the past at previous TwitchCons about like drink spiking or like the lack of security present, stuff like that. It has been something that people have mentioned numerous times, and every time Twitch tries to assure the community that, you know, they're really taking security seriously this time around. This time, you know, it's fucking locked down. There's going to be no issues. And like clockwork, there's always seemingly some kind of big security concern or something that arises at TwitchCon. It's just, I don't understand how they're not doing anything to like remedy it. Even in this, which is again supposed to be like their big year of security, like, because they made a huge, you know, stance on how strong they're going to be with security this year and how seriously they're taking it, how seriously they're going to take it, and then day one of TwitchCon, Imiru gets assaulted. And then in this clip, it really seems like there's not a lot of security there. And if there is, like off camera, a bunch of security, they're not very efficacious. They're not very good at stopping a legitimate threat. Like I said, this guy's intentions could have been to murder Imiru here. He could have had a weapon, and he wasn't even stopped. He got all the way to her and assaulted her before he was finally shoved off. Like, there is a real problem. And according to Imiru, it's actually even worse than that on the TwitchCon security side, where they didn't even, like, want to go after the guy until they were forced to by Imiru's team pressing them for it. So not only did the assault happen under their watch, where they had ample chances to stop that guy, but none of the handful of security that was around intervened in any way, and then didn't do anything to pursue the criminal. That's a crime. Like, that's a crime, and they were just gonna let him get away with that. It's complete lunacy. Imiru mentions that event staff didn't, like, check on her or anything. What you saw was her team checking on her and, you know, making sure everything's okay. So, what is TwitchCon, like, where are the event staff and security then? So they don't even check on someone who was just assaulted? They don't even go and see, like, what just happened? Like, are you okay? Do you need anything? Nothing at all? Like, that's crazy. It does not feel like safety is a huge priority at TwitchCon. What happened to Imiru is terrible, and it shouldn't have happened at all. It shouldn't happen to her or anybody attending TwitchCon. Another thing I want to briefly mention here. Apparently, Imiru didn't even want to do the meet and greet. She was obligated to in order to keep her show.
So I had to cancel my meet and greet because of the stuff, but in order to, I can't cancel my meet and greet and not cancel her show because of the fact that the reason I cancel my meet and greet is I don't want to be in the same place for 2 hours because of people being weird.
Okay.
And then I'm under contract with them, so I can't cancel one and not cancel the other.
Interesting. Oh. Yeah,
So I'm sorry,
I kept my meet and
Emmy.
greet because I wanted to keep my show. Surely it'll be
I'm
fine.
sorry, Emmy.
I'm sure everyone will be nice.
It sounds like it was a contractual obligation that if Imiru wanted to keep that show, she would have to do this meet and greet, which is something it doesn't seem like she wanted to do, but was trying to approach it with optimism about people, you know, being nice and not being weird. Unfortunately, that's just not how things panned out. And it's crazy. She didn't even want to do this meet and greet. It's something that it seems Twitch was requiring her to do in order to keep the other thing that she actually did want, unrelated to the meet and greet. So she decides to oblige and do this meet and greet, and Twitch doesn't even do the bare minimum of giving her adequate security to protect her. Holy shit. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about this a little bit. That's about it. So yep. Obviously I'm a little greasy. No, I haven't showered yet. So what? Who cares? Have you showered yet? If you did and didn't use Cheeky soap, then it doesn't count. Cheeky's the best soap in the universe. I know, I'm looking disheveled, but what are you? The Mighty Morphin Shower Rangers? I also haven't grown any taller, I'm still short. You want to make a big deal out of that too? Point is, yesterday was a pretty crazy day on Twitch. I think most of you have noticed over the last year or so, I've been very out of touch when it comes to internet creator drama. I haven't been keeping up like I used to, but occasionally I do still dip my toes in sporadically to see what's going on. And yesterday during stream, chat was telling me about two really big things that were happening. The first being a live-streamed birth on Twitch. The second being Hassan apparently using a shock collar on his dog on Twitch. Both of these sounded fucking nuts to me, so obviously I looked into them. And I know the Hassan dog stuff is what's blown up the most, but I actually want to start by blabbering about the live birth, because out of the two of these, this is the one I have the least to say with. The Hassan dog one, I'm be yapping. Well, let's start with the live birth, because apparently I've got a very hot take with this. The sentiment across the web, from what I can tell, is people are extremely positive about it, very supportive, and think that it was a wonderful thing. I don't necessarily have that perspective. I'll show you a brief snippet here of what the stream was like, with the baby being delivered in front of, like, allegedly, you know, tens of thousands of viewers. I'm seeing numbers that range from 30,000 to 100,000. I think people claiming 100,000 are including all the people that watch partied the birth. Now, I want to be clear, I'm very happy that everything went well with the delivery here. When it comes to home births, I've heard, like, horror stories and such about things that can go wrong and then not being able to get immediate care that a hospital offers. Like, there's just a lot of things that I've read about that can be, like, disastrous, and I'm super, super relieved that this was not one of those cases. It seems like everything went really smooth, everything went perfectly. A healthy baby was delivered, and I think that is all extraordinary. That being said, I really hate that there has been a complete deterioration of the value of privacy. It seems like people don't want privacy anymore. Like, there's no such thing as, like, a special moment anymore if you can't monetize it and publicly display it. Something like the birth of your child, to me, would be something that you would want with your closest family, your soulmate, you know, like this would be something so personal that you wouldn't want just a bunch of strangers peeking in on. And of course, I'm not her. I am not the family. She can do whatever she wants, but I'm giving you my perspective here, that to me, this seems like a sign of the times where everything needs to be like content brand, content oriented. There's really no other reason to be live streaming the delivery of your child other than the obvious attention it's going to bring with it. And I don't know, to me that just feels so odd and so, I hate using this word, dystopian. That word is like actual fucking like acid leaving my mouth because it's lost so much meaning with how overly it's used, but this feels so dystopian to me. It turns something as sacred as life entering this world into a monetizable spectacle, an event that tons of people were watch partying like it was a fucking football game. So it's not just a baby that might need to be breastfed here. She actually went out and was breastfeeding the entirety of the Twitch ecosystem here with additional views for those streams that were watching and reacting to her giving birth. I just think that is so fucking sad that everything has to be content now. Before that baby can even have its first thought or open its eyes, it's already a piece of content. It's already in the social media chaotic swirl. It's already on camera. And to me, that's just crazy. But to a lot of people, it's not. Which I think is just kind of concerning that we've deteriorated so much that everything is like expected to be content now. I'm a viewer of this streamer. Why shouldn't I be allowed in the delivery room when she gives birth? In fact, that makes a lot of sense for me to be there, actually. I've watched her streams a lot. I don't know. I just don't like that. Again, I'm very happy that everything went super well here, with the actual delivery of the baby, and everything seems to be very healthy, and I think that's great. I just truly cannot agree with the sentiment that this is somehow like a positive thing, because I don't view it that way. Like, to me, this is very clearly content first, like content focused, and everyone can eat, so everyone gets a piece of content to watch this baby being born. I don't know. I don't really like that idea. It somewhat reminds me of a joke I told a while ago about a piece of content about how I should deliver a baby. Like, how extreme that would be as like a banger video to deliver someone's baby. It's kind of like that joke, but unironically here. Like, it actually happened. Well, of course, not to the level of like some completely unqualified goober like delivering a baby, but just like the act of a child being born into this world immediately becoming a piece of content. I just don't like that. Anyway, though, let's move on to the next subject. This is the one that is by far the biggest from yesterday, and probably one of just the biggest topics in general, which is Hassan and his dog.
But it is emblematic of all of America's much more consequential violence. Okay? It's the same reason as to why America... Kaya, please just fucking go... Just stop. Jesus Christ, what are you doing? You're being such a baby. It's just... You're making her stressed. She just literally is so incredibly spoiled from my mom.
Now, for the life of me, like, I cannot understand what he's even upset about in the first place that he starts, like, scolding the dog for. She moved like an inch, like slightly off of that. It's like in a video game, like in Metal Gear Solid, when someone gets like a fucking question mark over their head, they're like zipping to you immediately. Like, she doesn't do anything really other than move slightly, and he is noticeably upset. He is upset about that specifically. Even before this incident, earlier in the stream, he had already, gotten annoyed at her for moving around prior to this.
The absolute worst country on the planet, straight up, bar none, a capitalist shithole. Kaya, now was not the opportunity for you to... Down. The absolute worst fucking place on the planet. Just a horrific...
So I think it's pretty clear that the dog moving off of that spot is what's making Hassan annoyed at her. Now, I saw he mentioned place training. Place is an actual dog training thing, and the whole idea behind it is designating a spot in a comfortable location for your pet. For a lot of people, I know it's like their office if they work from home. And Hassan was talking about how that area is her place. And for dog training, place is supposed to be like their happy spot where they are super safe and they feel super secure. And the way training goes with this, at least from everything I know about dog training, now keep in mind, when we first got Tetra, we did do dog training because my grandmother used to live with my parents, and Tetra gets very excited to see people. It's the cutest thing in the world, but she loves to jump on people. And my grandma, living at my parents, when we'd go to visit, or if they came to visit, if Tetra would jump on her, it could cause injury. So we did do dog training in order to learn how to, help with that. We didn't do any, fear training or anything like that with shock collars or whatever, but place was something that we did learn about. And when it comes to place, you do not want to, make it something stressful for the animal, at least in our teachings. It's supposed to be a comforting spot for them, not like a stressful thing where they just go there and fucking blue screen in the brain and just sit there idly comatose. And if they don't, they get punished. So he's calling this her place, but when she's moving from the place, he's scolding her. That's not what we were taught you're supposed to do when it comes to place training. That kind of defeats the purpose of it. I don't know why he would be getting so upset at that, angry at the dog for moving from place. That really does kind of defeat the whole purpose of it. And then, in that clip, it seems like he reaches for something. Like he looks off screen and he extends his arm to something, and then shortly thereafter, the dog yelps in pain, and Hassan turns around and calls her a baby, and then tries to reassure the chat that she is spoiled, and then goes on to say that she's spoiled because his mother lets her, have free roam around the house. Now, he and the community are claiming that he didn't use a shock collar or anything, didn't like zap her, fucking Palpatine lightning blast her or anything like that. She got her dew claw stuck on that spot, and that's what made her yelp in pain. I guess quick dog lore breakdown if you're not familiar with how those creatures function or anything. The dew claw is separate from like the paw pad area claws. The dew claw is a little higher up on the leg, and it's an old trait from back way in yesteryear when dogs needed that extra claw. It is just now an evolutionary leftover. It's still present, but it's not something that obviously gets utilized by dogs to the same degree it used to. It is a sensitive area. That is true. If you've ever cut your dog's nails, or if you've ever taken your dog to like a dog salon or something and they like gave your dog a nail trim, you probably noticed that when it comes to the dew claw, they're very, defensive on it, like cautious, because it is such a tender spot. I have watched this clip like fucking 10 or 15 times now. And today I had some friends come in from out of town, so obviously I've been out most of the day at the farm, and this was actually a conversational topic. It's become so big that it was brought up by them. And every single person, and pretty much everyone I've seen online outside of Hassan and Hassan's community, is all saying the same thing. That yes, it looks like the dog does like touch its leg to that spot on the bed, but it doesn't look like it gets caught or anything. So it feels very unlikely that that is what caused the dog to scream in pain. Like, I don't think that's what made Kaya, that's her name, yelp. It doesn't seem to get caught or snagged on anything, and dew claws aren't so sensitive and so tender that even touching them would cause like a panicked scream or anything. Unless she has an injury there, but I don't think Hassan has mentioned that, at least not that I've seen. So it feels to me very unlikely that that's what caused it, based on everything that we can see. Now, initially, even Hassan's community was starting to question, did he just shock Kaya? Did he just use a shock collar on stream? And the clip instantly started going viral, and he kind of downplayed it and shrugged it off as like, oh, a bunch of bad actors attacking me for some fucking phony baloney, barnacles here, unbelievable, this is all a load of fish paste. And instead of doing what I think most people, like not even just streamers, just normal people would do, of like showing, no, look, it's not a shock collar, obviously I didn't shock my dog, he instead just brushes it off saying, nope, it's not a shock collar, you're stupid for thinking that it is. And that's the attitude that his community had as well, like, oh, you must have psychosis if you think it's a shock collar. Which I think is a little odd, because it's the easiest thing in the world to prove, right? You have all these people saying this shit, it's not true. Well, it takes like actually 3 seconds just to unclip that collar and just show like, hey guys, I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea here, this is not a shock collar, look, here's what it is, and then explain it. Like, I feel like even a non-streamer, like a complete normie, average Joe Schmo, if you went to their house and saw that happen, or like, hey, did you just shock that dog? They'd be like, oh my god, no, this is clearly a misunderstanding, no, that's not what happened. Like, I feel like most people would be very quick to show you and prove that it's not a shock collar, because it's so quick and so easy to do. And the fact that he doesn't is odd, like it is very peculiar. Why wouldn't you in the moment? Like, that's such a natural thing to do, especially for what's easily a slam dunk. Like, you have all these people attacking you, you could easily just come out and fucking slam jam thank you ma'am on them by just being like, nope, it's not a shock collar, look, here you go, the proof is in the pudding, behold. Like, it'd be so quick, so simple, and it would be irrefutable. But that didn't happen yesterday. Instead, it was kind of brushed off as like, you've got to be fucking stupid to think that Hassan would shock his dog on stream, and he just kind of propped it up as like, the only people that would believe this are like bad people in the first place, or like, grifters, this kind of thing. And I just find that to just be so disingenuous, because most people are going to see this and it looks like you shock your dog. Given how annoyed you are with the dog, and right before she yelps out in pain, you roll your eyes, you look at something off screen, you clearly are like, you are reaching off screen, that is very clear, and then the dog yelps while you were still annoyed, and then instead of doing like what I feel like most dog owners would do, would like check to see like, is everything alright? Why'd she just yelp in pain? Instead of doing that, calling her a baby and then mentioning how spoiled she is about roaming the house, like that doesn't compute. If this was her dew claw getting stuck there and then yelping in pain, you would have no idea why she's yelping. Why is your first instinct to call her a baby and then mention how spoiled she is about, your mom letting her roam the house? The response to it just doesn't really seem to make sense if what happened is her dew claw getting stuck there. I just don't see why he would respond that way, like so like aggressive about it. It just doesn't really make sense. Now, a bunch of super sleuths were diving in, like really analyzing frame by frame. Apparently, Hassan has mentioned that she does have like an air tag on her collar. People also saw like a doohickey underneath the air tag right before the moment where she yelps, where there's like a green blinking gadget there, a little fucking gizmo. And people were speculating that's probably the shock collar. And now today, Hassan went on stream to show the collar and explain what it is that everyone saw.
This is the one that people are talking about. Okay, this is the one. This is the one that they saw. It has the capacity to vibrate, and that's it. Are you happy? That's it. Good. There's the air tag. There's the fucking vibrator. It also has a flashlight component to it at nighttime, and it also has a tracker on it when she gets lost. If she were to actually get fucking lost.
So on stream, he was showing that the unit everyone saw is something that can only vibrate, it can't shock. It also has like other things like a flashlight and stuff. And then he went on to explain like why he has a vibrator there for the sake of like training and that kind of thing. Now, since this was a day later, obviously people are going to be wondering, is this real? Like, is he telling the truth? Like, you could have swapped it out. You could have changed out the previous model with one that doesn't have shocking capabilities, because there are vibrate-only units, and there are some that have vibrate and shock, something he also mentions that those kind of things do exist. But since this was so far after the fact, people are always going to wonder, well, did he just switch it out? And something else that spawned from this is, it looks like there's tape on it. So when you watch it, and you like pay attention to the actual unit, it looks like there is just some black tape on it. And a bunch of people online started to try and find out what brand this is, because I don't know if I missed it and everyone else missed it, but I don't think he mentioned what model this is, like what brand or what model, anything like that. So people don't know what it is, they're just going to have to like take his word for it that this is a vibrate-only unit, and since there's no visible prongs, you're led to believe that it can't shock or anything. However, there are shock collars that have detachable prongs. In fact, the shock collars we use on Skill Check channel when we play Magic the Gathering and make a misplay and we shock ourselves, you can take the prongs off of those. I think that's a pretty standard feature in a lot of shock collars, I think. So, like, you can just take the prongs off. And when you increase the brightness here, it does seem like there's definitely tape. I've seen this picture floated around a lot, and people believe that they have narrowed it down to a model called the Educator ET400, which seems to match it visually 1-to-1 in all aspects except for the bottom side there, where on the ET400 there are two prongs there, but you can take those prongs off from what I can tell, at least online, and in the Hassan clip, there's a bunch of tape there, which potentially would be there to cover up the holes. I don't really know what else there would be tape there for. I don't really get that. Like, it doesn't make a ton of sense. But of course, I have no way of knowing 100% beyond a shadow of a doubt that Hassan shocked Kaya on that stream or anything like that. But based on the old eyeball test, the old smell test, what you can literally see, he is annoyed with Kaya. He expressed it a couple of times, scolded her. He rolls his eyes. He does reach for something off screen. And as he is reaching, it seems like when he finally gets to something, she yelps in pain. And then there's no real, like, concern from him, and instead talks about why she's, like, a spoiled baby. I don't see anything that she could have, like, hurt herself on. It doesn't seem like her dew claw or anything gets tangled up in the bed. So, to me, it feels like it is something he did. Even if it's not a full-blown shock, he didn't get her with, like, a Dungeons & Dragons lightning bolt or anything like that. If it is a vibrate-only unit, I feel like he definitely did press the vibrate in that instance there. I see nothing else that would cause that yelp here from everything that we can clearly see. And if that is the case, and that, to me, that's what it seems like the case is, that's super fucked up. She didn't do anything wrong. I don't think there's anything to warrant him being upset in the first place. And to be upset enough to press a, like, correctional button on that device is so beyond fucked. There was no bad behavior or any kind of correction or punishment needed to be doled out there. All she did was move on the bed slightly, like slightly move off the bed. I think it's super fucked up, but if this is all wrong, it's all a bunch of hooey, and Hassan didn't shock or vibrate or do anything at all here to cause Kaya to yelp in pain, I think A, it would have been very easy to immediately in the moment prove that by just showing the collar, which again, I feel like is the most logical thing most people would have thought to do. But also B, I still think all of his like anger and like annoyance at the dog for moving around off her place is just fucking weird too. And then of course people were mentioning how Kaya's on stream 8 to 10 hours a day, and then just all of a sudden randomly he decides to shock her today. Yeah, great story you've got there, Buster. Really shows how stupid everyone's become. Everyone's really fucking dumb to believe in something like this. All just because he hasn't in the past on stream. And then of course, people take it a step further, saying none of his friends have ever called him out for using a shock collar, thus this has to be a load of, you know, fucking horseradish. I think this is a very weak argument. Because I know if Hassan does use a shock collar, he would never let any of his friends see that. Because he would know that they would call him out for it and give him shit for it, especially someone like Maya. So they just wouldn't know. Thus, they wouldn't be able to call him out on it or anything like that. And this whole idea of making an assumption based on things that are outside of what is clearly visible here, I think is useless. Just because you haven't seen it in the past on stream doesn't mean it's not something he's done before, or it is very possible this was the first time. That's also very true too. What are shock collars used for? Training. And what is he currently doing with Kaya, at least based on what I've heard him talk about? Training her, or at least expanding the training on place. So maybe he decided that this might be a good tool to use for the first time. That's also entirely possible. It's not some like far-fetched crazy conspiracies that only haters are drumming up and, you know, falling in line with. It's a very plausible thing based on what is clearly visible in the clips. Anyway, just wanted to blabber about this a bit. I know I've been very out of touch with internet creator drama. I plan to keep it that way. But occasionally, can't help but poke around in a couple of the things going on out there, and yesterday was just a crazy one that I just needed to yap on a bit. That's really about it. So, yeah. It takes a big man to resist the primal urge to say I told you so when it turns out they were right when everyone was saying they were wrong. I am not that big of a man. I'm only 5'6". I'm fun size, baby. I'm petite. So here's me saying I told you so. 8 days ago I made a video called I Don't Believe It, talking about how everyone was parading around and celebrating that Nina Lynn had been permanently banned on Twitch based on literally zero evidence whatsoever. No statements from Twitch, no nothing. In fact, Nina herself even said that's not true, but people still said she's full of barnacles, she's definitely permabanned, off nothing but pure hopium and fantasy. I went against the grain saying I don't think that's the case. I don't think Twitch is going to have her permanently banned, but would love to be wrong. Fast forward to right now, turns out I wasn't wrong. She is unbanned and literally streaming this very moment. And if you turn your attention to her chat, you get a peek inside what Arkham Asylum must look like in the modern age. I cannot imagine, I can't even picture what losers must look like that are spamming W in a Nina Lynn stream. This is sexual assault superstar Nina Lynn, and people are excited to see her content again. Using the term content very loosey-goosey there because all she does is go on stream and whine about her haters and how much she doesn't care and actually loves her haters. Stay mad, fuck your mom. And then she'll go out in public with fake bravado and pretending to be all tough. It's just absurd to even imagine someone being entertained with those jingling keys because basically she just goes out and just says, fuck your mom! And that's it. But maybe they're very excited to shower with money because they're hoping they'll be her next sexual assault victim. Maybe that's what they're sitting their fingers crossed with as they throw dollars out of their wallet at her. A brief lore recap for those that are blissfully unaware of who she is. She is a streamer who has on stream sexually assaulted someone. And then turned it into a joke after the fact, even said that they should be embarrassed to even feel like they got sexually assaulted. She then also stole from Target on stream and then bragged about how much she steals from Target. All of this broadcast on Twitch, mind you. And she hasn't been permanently banned for it. She got 3-week ban in total. So I think it's a pretty clear message from Twitch that they don't take crimes like sexual assault or stealing all that seriously. Though they're willing to turn the other cheek if you're bringing in some viewership and some money to Twitch. A pretty awesome message to be sending to the community, where sexual assault savant Nina Lynn is welcomed back with open arms from Twitch itself, even after unapologetically broadcasting it and then turning the sexual assault event into a joke on her stream, as if it's not a big deal and doesn't matter or anything. But you've really outdone yourself here, Twitch. It's actually unbelievable. There is no clear consistency with the way Twitch enforces their rules. So you can commit serious crimes like sexual assault on Twitch, but if you're popular enough, that's okay. They'll let that slide after a couple weeks of vacation, which, by the way, wasn't because of the sexual assault. The 3-week ban was because of the stealing from Target. And I feel like they were probably trying to make up for, like, only banning her for, like, 24 hours or whatever it was after the sexual assault. But even then, 3 weeks... Yeah, I'm sure Nina Lynn really learned her lesson, and it definitely sounds like she did on her return stream, that's for sure. There is no consistency to how Twitch enforces their own rules. So, a notable example is, in 2023, a streamer named Scumnut got indefinitely banned for a joke where he typed, "I'll kick you to death" in one of his friends' chat, in reference to a God of War run he was doing, which was kick only. This was one message to a friend of his that was clearly in jest, and he received a year-long ban and only got the ban lifted because that friend was able to argue with Twitch staff himself to get Scumnut back on the platform. Imagine a world where you get banned for a year for what is clearly a very quick one-message joke to a friend of yours, yet sexual assault and other crimes are only punished for 3 weeks. It's absurd. Anyway, let's take a quick peek at the intro to Nina Lynn's return stream. There's no point in diving into a lot of it, because all it is her just being, like, really loud and obnoxious.
Even after this whole ban, listen, bro, the haters gon' hate. But listen, ain't no better marketing team than the haters. I'll tell you that right now. Guys, I'm not even joking when I tell you this. Bro, I love it. I love it, bro. I love the support, the hate, the everything, bro. We love all that shit. We love all that shit. Give it to me, bitch. Oh my God. Oh my God. The girl Wonder. The girl Wonder with the 10. I saw you earlier. You was giving out 5s and shit too. Shout out to the girl Wonder, man.
Man, she really has the voice of an angel and the mouth of a sailor. What an incredible combination. And she is as loud as a child on Xbox Live. The perfect recipe for incredible success. So much financial gain, even after blatantly sexually assaulting someone. Yes, sir, that's sexual assault superstar Nina Lynn back in action. Hide your cheeks, cause she's coming for him without consent. It's incredible stuff, Twitch. You've really outdone yourself here. What a strong message you're sending. Now, it's not all just her gloating to her haters. She's also doing something really nice this holiday season for some kids, where she's going to be giving them money. So I'm going to go ahead and play a quick segment there of her maybe turning a new leaf here and doing something nice.
Maybe I'm spoiling it. Fuck it, I'm gonna spoil it. I have some news for y'all. I also have, tomorrow we are giving 120 to 100 orphans or, recreational kids that we're gonna be donating money. We got some sponsors on deck. I'm gonna invite you guys on it. But the money is gonna go towards the kids, bro. I'm very proud to say this. I've been working on it for a week now. Anyways, that's tomorrow. That's tomorrow, guys. That's tomorrow. We're not gonna worry about that right now. But Christmas is really for the kids. You know what I'm saying? Even though I'm Grinch, I might just dress up like Grinch. Who knows?
Sounds very sweet. I'm sure that's coming from a place of genuine care, no doubt. Now, one thing I couldn't help but notice when watching her return stream is a lot of people in her chat were very upset she was wearing a mask. So there's some people that were spamming "take the mask off," some of them caps locking "mask off," that kind of thing. There was even one guy multiple times begging, "Please take the mask off," and then pleading to mods, "Make her take the mask off." Which is so incredibly sad. It's like they're just desperate to goon to her or something. That's why they're there. So like when she had the mask on, they were shaking their fists. "No! Take the mask off!" What fucking losers. Holy shit. I just had to point that out. I didn't screenshot all of them, and I don't feel like going back through and doing it. But when she had the Grinch mask on, there were people like really upset that there was a mask she was wearing this time around. But anyway, this whole thing is me just basically saying I told you so. I think Twitch has made it pretty clear here with this that there is a level of popularity you can achieve where Twitch is more than willing to let pretty much anything slide, including crimes. That's a pretty great message for Twitch to be sending. Pretty awesome stuff. I'm not surprised to see this. I'm just pretty upset about it, is all. And I have no doubt Nina Lin will continue to be very successful because it's not just Twitch that doesn't care. Look at her community. They don't give a fuck. They're spamming W's. There's that one guy who's like, my goat is always doing such nice things in the world, when Nina Lin's entire brand, personality, and content is around making other people miserable, even going as far as sexually assaulting someone, stealing, threatening to beat up a stranger when they express their discomfort with her behavior in public. I don't exactly see how that's really blessing the world with sunshine and rainbows, but I guess that delusional paint chip eating, glue huffing chatter sees it differently. Either way, very sad shit. Twitch should be ashamed of themselves. That's really about it. So yeah. I know this is a topic I've blabbered about quite a bit, but it's something that only continues to spiral more and more out of control. Advertisements during streams. Twitch being the most egregious culprit. I think out of pretty much every service that exists, Twitch's advertisement model is the worst. Actually, you know what? Strike that from the record. I take that back. Put the poop back in my butt. I'm not giving that crown to Twitch because I think mainstream media outlets are so much worse with their advertisements. I don't know how many of you have gone on the internet with the condom off, no ad blocker. It is miserable when you go to any news site. Like, tabloids are the worst, like Daily Mails, obviously, The Sun, shit like that. You will not even see your article. There'll be like 4 auto-playing ads everywhere. Fucking cerebral jacking in, like, Ford advertisements. Like, the article is just encapsulated, entombed in so many ads. So I actually think journalism sites are much worse, but Twitch is a close second. Anyway, the reason why I'm yapping about this again is because a report was recently published about how Twitch viewership is down significantly, the lowest level it's been in 5 years since their bot crackdown, which I've already touched on, but a lot of people have been speculating that it's more than just the bots contributing to the decline in viewership. XQC's take recently just kind of popped off and has reopened this discussion to a broader audience, and it's a really interesting one. He and many others believe that a lot of people are tuning out of Twitch because the ads ruin the experience. What's going on Twitch right now is often being compared to television, how TV started to decline once streaming got a foothold because most people switched from TV to streaming because they were fed up with all of the ad breaks interrupting them. It was far more convenient and a lot more enjoyable to just watch what you want to watch without any interruptions. But of course that opened up its own can of worms with how many streaming services are popping up like fucking weeds across the globe. It is a goddamn pandemic. But the point is, ads made people want to switch from that service, television, to something that had less ads. And in the streaming space, right now we're seeing that with Twitch mainly, but not just exclusively to Twitch, YouTube. YouTube ads have recently been fucking exploding. Like, there are so many more ads now that users are noticing during streams. Though it can't hold a candle to Twitch, where the standard affair on Twitch, if you don't have an ad blocker or if you're not subscribed to the streamer you want to check out, is you go on Twitch, you go to a category, you click on a stream, you sit through like a 2-minute pre-roll ad before you ever even see the content. You see, like in the top right, the countdown for how many more minutes of ads you have to sit through before getting to the content you wanted to watch in the first place. And you say it's not worth it, and you exit out of that person's stream and then just go to someone that you're subscribed to, or you just go somewhere else. Like, I am at the point, and I've been at this point for a while, where if there's a pre-roll that plays, I just leave. And on my streams, there are pre-rolls. Not because I put them there, it's because Twitch has it as an automated process. If you don't run at least, like, 3 minutes of ad breaks, 3 minutes worth of ads for every hour that you stream, Twitch puts pre-rolls there. You earn your good boy points through ad breaks on Twitch, and if you reach a certain threshold, they get rid of the pre-rolls. What benevolent saints. For me, though, I don't do the 3-minute ad break. I do the literal lowest level possible. I'll show you exactly what it looks like to clear up a lot of confusion I'm seeing, because now a lot of people are saying, Twitch is blameless. Actually, we need to all point our fingers at the streamers. They're the ones that are running 30 minutes of ads per every hour they stream. They're the ones that are greedy and putting the pre-roll ads there. And you're half right. There are streamers that do put the maximum amount of ads per hour possible and just force their viewers to just fucking take the punishment, take the belt to the cheeks. That's brutal. It does get rid of the pre-rolls, but that shit sucks. The pre-rolls are something that Twitch does, not the streamer. So as you can see here, streamers like you have to run up to 3 minutes of ads per hour. In the past month, streamers like you who are based in US, have 6K concurrent viewers, stream gaming, whatever, have to run 3 minutes of ads per hour. So they're trying to push that, and if you don't, then you get the pre-rolls. So I have it set to 30 seconds of ads per hour that I stream, the actual lowest it can possibly go. And because of that, I have pre-rolls that Twitch shoehorns in there. But this can go all the way up to 22 minutes and 30 seconds worth of ads per hour that you stream. And I think there are streamers that do that. They just fucking have it go Insano style, turbo mode, off the charts ads out the wazoo here for it. And that is entirely on the streamers. That is not Twitch's fault. Like, I do think that ruins streaming. Streamers that do that and try and, like, normalize that level of ads. That shit is diabolical. But as for the pre-rolls, that is on Twitch. And I think that is a terrible, terrible practice. That is the antithesis to what streaming is supposed to be. Where it is just a live flow of content and you click on things that seem interesting or streamers that you might be interested in watching. And no one wants to sit through fucking 3 minutes before they even see that stream to see if they even like that streamer. They're just going to leave. Like I do. It's just stupid. But it is what it is. That's what the platform is. And it's extremely annoying. And I would actually say that the way Twitch does ads is worse than television ever was. By its very nature, streaming is supposed to be a constant flow of content. You are watching something live. And when it gets interrupted with a 3-minute ad break, it's not just like everything pauses while you watch those ads. You are just now missing 3 minutes of what you tuned in to see. Whereas television, even when you're watching like a live sporting event, when the ad break pops up, there's a timeout. There is a break. You don't miss anything. Or if you're watching your favorite show and it gets to the big climax and then there's an ad break, well, the climax doesn't happen in the fucking background. You don't miss anything. When it comes to streaming, you do. So I think it is much worse, and it is much more intrusive, and it is far more out of control now than it ever was for TV. Because at least with TV, there was like a set amount of commercial breaks. On Twitch, Jesus, Lord knows, because streamers control it. And there are a lot of streamers that just do like maximum ad breaks, so it'll be like fucking 7 minutes worth of ads for every hour streamed, or significantly more. Like they could be doing 3-minute ad breaks every like 10 minutes. Like there is no telling how many ads you will be served when watching a Twitch stream. At least with TV, you knew. There was an expectation, and there was plans around it from the content itself. Again, you didn't miss anything with the ad breaks. With streaming, you do. And it's annoying. And people are really fed up. So I do agree with the take that XQC has said, as well as many others have said, about how ads are literally leading to like the death of streaming, in particular on Twitch. Because Twitch is the worst offender for it. YouTube is going down that path with how many ads they're starting to shove down users' throats. Twitch is still in a worse state with it, and I don't see either platform improving in this department. I just think they're going to make it even worse. Especially Twitch. Twitch, I feel like, has been treading water for a while. Now they do this bot crackdown, their numbers plummet for a little bit. I think that maybe scares them a bit about like the potential advertiser hit that they might take, where the advertisers are like, oh, Twitch, this is a big drop. Maybe we won't spend as much on Twitch. Maybe it's not worth the budget that we're allocating over there. We're going to cut back on this. Like, and then they're going to go even harder, like pushing their other brand partners to try and like foster that relationship and keep it tight, because they're going to need to, fucking latch onto it. So I really feel like Twitch's direction with ads has only been getting worse and more intrusive and ruining the experience further and further. YouTube is starting to follow suit because, like I mentioned, they are pumping a ton of ads on streams as well now. Not to Twitch's level yet, but it is there. And I just think that it is horrible for streaming, like, in general. Nobody wants to sit through streams like that where it's interrupted by minutes worth of ads for shit nobody wants in the first place. It is what caused TV to go in a bit of a rough patch there, because streaming offered a better ad-free service. And I've already seen some spitball solutions here that I think are pretty trash. One of them was, well, you should be paying all the streamers anyway. So if you want to watch content ad-free, well, fork over some clams to the streamer and subscribe to them. What the fuck, Goober? No, that's super stupid. Streaming is free. Like, you are producing content for free. Getting any money back is just cherries on top. Like, it is a service that is free. And if you now start requiring people to pay money to keep experiencing that service, well, you've got an issue. Because never charge for something that was once free. That is like an age-old saying that remains true. You can find countless examples of that being proven time and time again. Nobody is going to want to pay for something that they were getting for free already. And it is, by its nature, a free service you're providing to viewers. If they like you so much they want to give you some money, then all power to them. I'm not their dad. They can make their own decisions, and that's great. You know, everyone's happy. Whatever. But this is not a solution to Twitch's inundation of ads to the platform. Everyone shouldn't be required to spend money on the streams they want to watch in order to watch it uninterrupted and unimpeded. It sucks. That's silly. Another solution I've seen kicked around is, well, maybe the streamers just need to do a better job of, like, planning their ad breaks, kind of like how TV used to do it. I already don't like where that's going. We're regressing now to old TV habits, but the idea is streamers, when they're about to run their ad break or when the ad break is coming up, they pause everything and, like, tell their viewers, all right, here comes ads, go stretch, do that. Take some time if you don't want to watch them, and then we'll come right back after the ads in, like, 3 minutes or whatever. And I think there are some streamers that have experimented with that. I don't know how well it's been received. And theoretically it makes sense because at least then they're not missing any content. But that's not going to work for every stream. You can't do that for every stream. You can't plan around all of that because these streams aren't planned. Like, I guess you can pause a game, sure. Like, that can kind of work to pause your game that many times for, like, stretch breaks and whatever. But it's not going to work for every stream and every streamer. It just wouldn't. There's too many variables at play with every stream that happens. Also, I think it'd be very unfair to the people that just don't want to run ads in the first place. You can't just pause your stream for the pre-roll ads. You'd never have a stream because everyone is going to get a pre-roll ad when they come to your stream. How the fuck are you going to ensure that they're not missing content with that pre-roll ad? They're going to. You have no way of stopping that. And I don't think the solution is to require everyone to start running, X amount of minutes of ads per hour. People don't want to do that. Like me, I don't want to do that. It's that simple. So I don't think that's a good solution either. It is a complicated problem. I recognize on Twitch's end, they need to make money off their platform. Otherwise, how the fuck are they going to keep it going? It's very expensive, and the way to do that is through advertising. But their advertising methodology, I think, is just really counterintuitive to what streaming is and has been, and it's just going in a really bad direction that continues to make it worse. Yeah, obviously I don't have all the answers there, but there's got to be something, because I really do think as this continues, more and more people are just not going to watch streams when an ad pops up, and it'll probably just turn them off from even clicking on streams in the first place, knowing that they're going to get ads before even going to it. So there's got to be a solution. There's got to be something to change with that from YouTube and Twitch's end of this inundation of ads. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to yap about it again. That's really about it. So yeah. I have been paying very close attention to the Twitch bot apocalypse. I've kept my finger on the pulse of it. I find it to be a really interesting topic here. For those that don't know, a few days ago, Twitch made good on their promise where they swore they would be making bot detection and eradication a priority. They finally called attention to a issue that has plagued Twitch since the beginning. Since the genesis of Twitch, in the primordial soup of streaming, there has been bots that have infected the platform. And for the longest time, Twitch had gone really hands-off. They said, you know what, if we don't put our hands on the stove, we won't know if it's hot. But recently they said that they were going to actually be directly attacking this bot issue. And a few days ago they rolled out their first targeted strike here on bots. And boy howdy, it was a doozy. Apparently the overall viewership on Twitch went down as much as 24% compared to last week, with many big streamers suddenly losing thousands of viewers. Not just big streamers, streamers of all shapes and sizes lost tons and tons of viewers, like across the board. It was a pretty big purge of invalid traffic, bot activity. As I said a couple days ago, I was pretty surprised with how hard they hit the ground running here. I thought it would just be like lightly poking the bear, like, oh, we got rid of like 100 bots. Big W, Twitch is saved. But no, they kind of like, they dropped a bomb here. It was a pretty big deal. So big, in fact, that a lot of streamers many suspected of being a view botter had just decided not to stream for like the last week or so, inexplicably. Just randomly deciding not to stream during the bot purge, which of course has everyone raising an eyebrow, and of course all of this has led to a lot of finger pointing, a lot of shit stirring, a lot of spitting, a lot of farting and coming. It's been kind of pandemonium in the streaming space as people are noticing view counts have been dropped from a lot of streamers, and in some cases drastically. So the natural conclusion people are drawing is they were view botting. And as I predicted, and as everyone predicted, nobody wants to own up to being privy to their channel being view botted, because that's against the rules. They would get banned. No one's ever going to admit to it. So it's been a lot of cope and a lot of excuses, like, oh, it must have just been this stranger over here that's been doing this and I had no fucking clue. I'm glad that it's getting solved. Everyone is talking about this as a positive thing. Meanwhile, in the background, there are people that no doubt are shaking their fist in anger in demanding that their botting service get it under control and fix it, because they need those viewer numbers to go back to where they were. Because obviously, if it doesn't, people are going to be aware there was some fraudulent activity there. And the only question remains, did the streamer know? Like, were they guilty of paying for the service themselves? Or was it like an org they were affiliated with? Because according to a lot of the data, all of which is public, by the way, you can see all of the viewer numbers post and pre-purge. All of this is public. So you can see a lot of streamers that are affiliated with an org, like OTK is the big one everyone's talked about. But not just OTK, there were other orgs coming under fire as well. Namely, FaZe was another one that people had a lot of question marks over their head with, because a lot of the streamers affiliated with FaZe also took huge drastic drops in their viewership during this purge. So the speculation is that these orgs are boosting the numbers of some of the streamers under their umbrella, because by having more successful streamers under their brand, it's good for the brand. Obviously, the motivation is to make more money, because you can make significantly more doubloons if the streamers that are under your blanket are more popular. So if you boost your streamers by thousands upon thousands of viewers that they don't legitimately have, you can still bring those numbers to brands that would be none the wiser in the partnership. And according to some other streamers, there's been actually quite a bit of talk from streamers about orgs even like softly admitting to doing this in certain cases. I don't know like all the particulars around that, but there has been like a lot of discussion that orgs do actually do this. Like, it's not just a full-blown conspiracy theory, but then the question becomes, well, do the streamers under these orgs know about that? Like, there's just a lot of questions now after all of this bot detection and all this bot purging. It's been a flood of questions, like Yahoo Answers just got revived. Did the streamers viewbot themselves? Was it a member of their community viewbotting the streamer? Did the streamer, are they a victim of like a stranger, a malicious bad actor trying to artificially boost their numbers to potentially ruin their reputation? Is there a super fan of the streamer that's trying to boost their favorite streamer to make them more popular because they just love them so much? Does the streamer know that the org they're affiliated with might be boosting their numbers? Just so many questions. And another big discussion that's come from all of this is about sponsors. Allegedly, some sponsors have been botting sponsored streams in order to make it seem more popular to the average viewer. So they'll artificially boost those numbers so it seems like there's more hype around the product, and they've also been accused of botting even beyond sponsored streams, because by being partnered with that streamer, it's better for their brand if that streamer is perceived as more popular. So they'll boost them even beyond the sponsored stream, just so that way they can use it as marketing material, like, hey look, we're partnered with this big guy. And meanwhile, a lot of the viewership is botted by the sponsor, allegedly. But I also want to mention that in only 2 days here, it seems that there are some botting services that have already found ways of circumventing these bans. There are some streamers that have miraculously bounced back after a 3-day plummet to not only where they were, but in some cases even higher, despite nothing changing in their content and doing nothing different. So it does look like in certain cases, some bots have found a way to evade this. So I'm hoping this isn't Twitch's only action here against bots, because as I mentioned, it's going to be an ongoing tug of war. And it is good for the entire platform to do your best to stop bot activity. Fake, phony, baloney numbers are bad for all of the streamers on the platform, except for, of course, the ones that are paying to win in the streaming space, which is another thing. There is a very real possibility, and something that has been talked about by some of the biggest streamers, that a strategy that used to be used and is probably still employed to a certain degree is some streamers would bot their streams for a while to try and grow an organic viewer base, and then they would completely stop paying for the botting service and just let the organic numbers start to take over as more people assimilate into the community. So, of course, this is never going to detect that strategy, but even still, Twitch needs to do everything it can to stop bots, because it is very bad for everyone on the platform to just let this rampant issue continue and spiral out of control. Now, I think I need to explain why I have this perspective and so many people have this perspective, because I've seen a lot of people downplaying this as like not a big deal, like this is a fucking nothing burger. Who cares about view counts? If you can pay for it, you should do it. It gives you the advantage in the space. You gotta stand out in the market, so if you can do anything to get an edge, you gotta fucking do it. And yeah, you're right, it's a saturated market, so obviously buying view bots is going to immediately help you stand out by floating to the top of a category, so that way some curious Georges will see you at the front there, and they'll click because you've got the most viewers, so obviously there's a lot of hubbub there and they want to see what all the fuss is about, so they'll check out your stream because you have artificially inflated the numbers, and then you have now occupied that viewer, which takes it from another streamer that is legitimately streaming to an audience and a real community of people there to watch them instead of just an army of clankers. In fact, the argument kind of mirrors something from many moons ago when Twitch was still pretty new. I'm going to take you back to the past to talk about some titties and ass. There was a huge trend on Twitch for a while with something called booby streamers, if anyone remembers that, where there was a trend on Twitch where streamers would try and wear the most revealing clothing that Twitch would possibly allow in the most sexual of positions and constantly putting cleavage as like the main hook to draw viewers in. And this drew a lot of outrage because people believed that by doing that, they were stealing viewers from their streams because they weren't showing cleavage and everything. It was a huge debate that raged on for years, actually, and people were always split on whether or not that was the case. Was this streamer with cleavage stealing a viewer from this guy over here who was building a brazen bull in Minecraft? Well, the jury was always out. But in this case, there is clear data, clear-cut, irrefutable evidence that viewbotting your streams and fucking leapfrogging your way ahead of everyone that is legitimately streaming with less viewers than you does actually steal the viewers from them. You are directly competing in the exact same content, but you have now floated more visibly to the top through artificially inflating your numbers, fundamentally paying to win, and cheating the system. That 100% does take viewers away from the actual streamers on Twitch. Across the board. It's not a debate, and it's not like a competitive advantage. You are cheating. You are breaking the rules of the website too, by the way. Twitch just doesn't choose to enforce them very often. They have just let this go unchecked for an extremely long period of time. But it's not allowed. You're not supposed to be able to do that. So this, again, is not a debate. So, the problem is, that shit sucks. That is bad, not only for all the streamers that are doing it legitimately, but it's also bad for the platform. I'm actually kind of surprised Twitch doesn't face more hot water for their handling of bots for this long, because while Twitch on their back end can identify fraudulent traffic and adjust your ad revenue for it, that is something they've talked about before, how, like, if you viewbot a stream up to 2 million viewers instantaneously and then just start farming ads, Twitch will go and analyze that traffic to see if it's real, and they will adjust your earnings on it. I've seen them talk about that. While Twitch can do that on their back end and not lose their ass on that, you know who can't? Brands that work with streamers. The way a brand partnership works when it comes to streamers is they base your pay on your metrics. And the metrics that you provide, well, that's not going to account for bots. They can only go off the information that is accessible. And they don't have that back-end ability that Twitch has to go in there and see, well, who's a real viewer versus a fake one? Like, how many bots are here? They only have your metrics. So that's your average viewers, which could easily be hyperinflated because of bots. So what streamers can easily do, and definitely have done, is they boost all of their numbers to really high levels that they really are not achieving organically. It's not real viewers. It is all fraudulent, invalid traffic from botting services. They will inflate their viewer numbers. Then brands will approach them, or they will approach brands about doing a partnership or a sponsored stream, and they'll provide those viewer numbers, which will have the brand then give them higher pay than what they should be receiving. And the brand will pay this money under the impression that it's being served to X amount of viewers. And those viewers, they're assuming, are real, legitimate human beings with a pulse. But in reality, a lot of times, it's being served to bots. Aren't even there, aren't consuming it at all. So they're paying a lot of money to be put in front of bots without their knowledge. In some cases, of course, that's not every case. As I mentioned earlier, there are some brands that have been accused of botting the sponsored stream itself in order to float more visibly to like Twitch in whatever category they're in. So there are definitely some brands that are more than fine with using botting services to make it seem like it's more hype and there's more interest in this sponsored stream. Like, wow, there's 20,000 viewers here to watch, you know, the poop that took a pee 2.0 just dropped. Look at all these people in here that are watching this sponsored stream. Meanwhile, it's the agency itself that is paying to boost those numbers. So both of these things happen, where a brand will be none the wiser that what they are paying for is not getting served to real human beings that they expect it to. It's getting served to bots. And there are some brands that pay to actually just use the bots to try and generate this artificial hype around something. The way that bots function in the Twitch ecosystem is fucking crazy. I really am kind of surprised Twitch hasn't faced more problems from these companies for it. Like companies that might feel defrauded. Like they paid hand over fist to these streamers based on these viewer numbers only to learn, well, they're all being botted because Twitch does not care about botting. They kind of gave the soft green light that they're not going to crack down on it and don't really give a fuck. I imagine some brands would be really pissed to learn that. And I'm surprised they haven't like called out Twitch or tried to handle this litigiously or something about it. I don't know, I just found that to be a little interesting because it is very clear botting is a huge issue on Twitch. When they finally took their first real step in fighting against this menace, their overall platform viewership dropped 24%. And that's just the first snowball in an avalanche of bots, I imagine. That is the first wave. Can you imagine if Twitch actually deleted every bot from the platform? I wonder how high that percentage drop would have gone. You know what I mean? Now, in reality, I don't think that's ever going to happen. It's a very tall order to fight and delete every bot when these services are constantly going to be doing everything and spending tons and tons of money of their own to evade bot detection because they have so many clients that use them. There will probably always be bots on Twitch. Not only on Twitch, it's obviously on YouTube and every other streaming platform as well. I understand that. And also, I feel as though Twitch might be apprehensive about this anyway. Like, if Twitch had a magic button that they could press it, and it would guarantee every bot and all invalid traffic would be banned on Twitch from this point forward and could never return. It'd basically be like in K-pop Demon Hunters when they fully seal away all the demons, they can't return. If Twitch could do that right now, I think they would be very apprehensive about it. Because we just saw them take one step in fighting bots and they lost 24% of their viewer base over the last few days that it's been there. Like, that's a huge drop. And if they did it even harder, that number would only climb. And I imagine they would be worried about all of their brand partners starting to jump ship like, oh no, Twitch is dying. Look at this graph. You see how there's no more views? It's all dried up. Time to pull our ad spend from Twitch. I think they would be worried about the future of Twitch if they did that because their viewer count numbers would be so much lower, significantly lower, that they'd probably be getting hit financially pretty hard from all of these sponsors that are paying money to be put there. And brands don't really care about, like, the nuance of what the numbers say. They only care about what the numbers indicate. So most of the brands, I imagine, would see this. And in fact, some of them are probably already worried with the 24% drop. But if it got even higher, some brands would probably see this and they wouldn't take into account like it's all bot activity. They would see this and be like, nope, this is dangerous. This is not worth the ad spend. We're pulling out. And even if they did bother to take a little bit of time looking into it, they might feel slighted by Twitch for letting this bot problem persist for so long, and they were spending so much money for what ultimately amounted to a lot of invalid traffic. So I think Twitch would be really skeptical about getting rid of every bot, even if they could. Which is why I was so surprised that they went this hard out of the gate against the bots and actually did make a dent in it. And I hope they continue to do this. I hope that they didn't, like, you know, pump the brakes like, oh, that was a lot. We took a big viewership hit there from all this bot stuff. Let's maybe, you know, pull our punches a little bit here. I hope they don't go down that path. Like, I do hope they continue to make this a priority and do legitimately try and get as many bots off of Twitch as they possibly can. Anyway, that's enough blabbering about it from me today. That's about it. See ya. I'm shocked! I cannot believe Twitch is actually finally making bot busting a priority on the platform. Botting on Twitch has been a problem since the beginning of time. And they hadn't taken it seriously forever, but a month ago they made a statement where they claimed, listen guys, condoms finally coming off, we're going in raw against bots, we're finally going to do something about it. And I was excited, like that's something to celebrate, but I kind of thought they were just looking to score some good boy points online, like some brownie points, because Twitch's reputation been kind of in the shitter recently. I thought this was just something that they were just doing for lip service. I wasn't entirely convinced they were going to go that hard on it until today. Wow. They have actually done a really good job here, like in this first wave, of getting bots off of Twitch. Like bringing back down these artificially boosted numbers to what they actually are. There's a lot of examples to pull from. The data is all very new, mind you, but I think the best example is from a channel called Mira. I'm sure some of you have at least heard of this because this is something that people have been trying to put on Twitch's plate for the longest time about a channel that keeps getting recommended to them that isn't actually even a live stream. For the last couple of years, it is just a farming channel where Mira is just farming ads off botted numbers. She doesn't actually even really stream on there. I think she's gone live like a few times over the last couple of years, but it's live 24/7, just pumping reruns of streams she did so long ago, like ancient history. So look at this. This channel, for I think like probably 3 years, I don't know how long it's been going on for, but it's been years, has been sitting at like a steady 2,000 viewers no matter the time of day. And all the channel has done for this time, pretty much exclusively, is run 24/7 reruns of old streams, yet somehow manages to maintain 2,000 viewers throughout the entire duration of it. Then, the day that Twitch bot smiting comes into effect, it goes from 2,000, then down to 1,500, and then the bot detection, I guess, must have kicked into fucking turbo drive. They went Wumbo style. And now she's sitting at 100 to 200, pretty much overnight. This, to me, is like the most clear example of them actually doing something about botting. I was very surprised to see this. Her channel, which is live right now, by the way, because it's 24/7 reruns, this channel is constantly, or was constantly, recommended to anybody with a brand new account. Like, see how I'm not logged in or anything. I'm still on, like, light mode. This stream was recommended all the time, and somehow still had thousands of viewers on just reruns. Clearly, most, like, rational, sentient human beings aren't going to be watching that. Like, look at the chat. It doesn't move. And this is exactly what it looked like back then, too. No movement, there's no chatting, because it's not real. And now the bot detection is here, and you can see that it is finally working. Though I think there are still some bots, like some holdovers here, because there's no way there's 250 people here right now. It seems to me like there's definitely still some stubborn bots that Twitch wasn't able to get there, sticking on there like a hemorrhoid. The parasite bot infestation has been decimated, but not destroyed, because I cannot imagine 276 people being in this stream right now. Not even as background noise in like a tab they forgot on like an ancient laptop. I don't even see that being the case. I don't think there is a single soul in this realm right now. This shit is more empty than a theater showing Morbius. Like, I just don't believe that. But even still, it's clear that what Twitch is doing is actually pretty effective at blasting bots, which I didn't expect. Her channel, I think, is the best example of it, but there's a lot of other channels, like big streamers that went live over the last day, where their view counts have halved, or even more than halved in some cases. So they actually are taking it kind of seriously. Like I said, I was a little skeptical that they were even going to really try and take down bots, because inflated viewer numbers is good for the platform. Like, I thought they probably wouldn't actually put a lot of resources to it, but it seems I was very wrong. Now, another thing worth mentioning, this scam of like running reruns with bots is not exclusive to just her channel, but you have to wonder how much money she made off of that. This went on for years, And I'm so curious how much money she made just running old streams 24/7 reruns with botted view counts up to 2,000 to 3,000. That's probably a pretty substantial chunk of change. It's got a lot of people talking, and I think this is a really great thing from Twitch, to be honest. XQC made a tweet talking about it, saying, Twitch cracked down on bots in 2 to 3 days, and view botters / victims of view botting have been exposed. Streamers that are part of groups / orgs are seemingly being botted much more heavily. Don't want to start a witch hunt, but the data is interesting, go see for yourself. And then links Twitch tracker, which you can see for yourself. And people are scrubbing through with a fine-tooth comb, taking a peek at these big drops in viewer numbers. And right now, the findings are still pretty early, because this has only been in effect for like 2, maybe 3 days now. So it's still like very fresh data. This shit's straight out of the oven. But people are noticing that some of the biggest channels being hit were affiliated with orgs. So like XQC mentions, like some org-affiliated channels were, in a lot of cases, the recipients of some artificially boosted numbers, as evident by a huge drop in viewer numbers over the last couple days out of nowhere. Namely, OTK seems to be the big one. People are seeing a huge drop across the board for most of the channels that have gone live over the last couple days that are with the group. Another channel people have been paying very close attention to is Asmongold. He's one of the biggest streamers in the world, and he went live the last couple days since the bot fisting has come out from Twitch, and they noticed that his average viewers for both streams had been about 20,000 less than normal. About 20,000 people were banished to the Shadow Realm here, and Asmongold even commented on it, believing that his account was probably botted. He believes with 95% certainty his channel was botted. And he agrees that removing these bot numbers and this fake phony baloney viewership from the platform is good for everybody there. And that seems to be the prevailing sentiment, that everyone agrees that getting rid of artificial viewership from Twitch is a net positive to the entire platform. The only people that'll have an issue with these fake numbers being blasted is going to be the people that are exploiting them. The people that are using the bot services are the only ones that are going to be outraged about it. Now, I also imagine the cope from a lot of people that are going to get caught red-handed with bots is going to be, it wasn't me. I must have been the victim of a malicious bot villain, a supervillain twirling his evil cartoonish mustache. Must have been botting me for all this time. I had no idea. And in some cases, like, that is a real thing. There are cases where some people will bot a channel just because they think it's going to get them in trouble. But that doesn't happen. Like, Twitch, for the longest time, has not taken this botting problem seriously. So that whole idea of, like, a bad actor botting a channel to try and get punishment put upon a streamer they don't like, it's not that common. It happens, sure, but it's not that common because everybody knows Twitch hasn't done anything about botters for so long. So how the fuck could that possibly still be a strategy that someone that doesn't like you would use? That's like you and your buddy going to the public pool and you eat pizza together and then your friend tries to tell the lifeguard that you didn't wait 30 minutes before getting in the pool. It's like, okay, who gives a fuck? Like, that's the whole way Twitch has treated botting for the longest time. Until now. I think that's going to be like the crutch a lot of people will claim, like, I wasn't botting, I didn't sign off on anyone botting me, this must have been some stranger in the back alleys trying to hurt my reputation by botting me for all this time. And some people, I'm sure, will be telling the truth, but it's going to be hard to know for sure. But one thing that I think everyone will know for sure is that this is a really good thing for Twitch. I am so glad they're actually taking this seriously and actually wiping out such huge amounts of bots. I'm hoping they are still going to continue doing this because there is still work to be done. All of these bot services are going to do their best to circumvent this so that way their clients can continue to pay them money for this service. They're not just going to roll over and die. They're not going to go belly up and just admit defeat. This is always a tug of war. They are going to come up with new ways of trying to evade Twitch's detection, and I'm hoping this isn't just like a one-time thing where Twitch blew their whole load here on this bot blast. I'm hoping they will continue to allocate resources to fighting against the upcoming bots that are going to be, no doubt, surfacing soon. But either way, this is a great step in the right direction, and I hope it continues. Just wanted to yap about it a bit. That's it. So yeah. View botting on Twitch has been a big problem for many years now, and nothing has been done about it despite countless conversations from users about it. And this isn't some like wackadoo conspiracy that you can just write off as just like fake paranoia over nothing. This isn't like 5G and airport body scanners blasting you with gay beams that turn you into a mutant that craves penis or something. This is a very real thing. And it's not even like it's hidden or anything. It's not exactly a secret. It's about as much of a secret as ketchup's main ingredient being tomatoes and sugar. It is blatant. And for the longest time, it felt like they did nothing to stop it. So tons of streamers over the years have just shamelessly used view bots to inflate their numbers to float to the top of the categories and grow, which is, of course, very unfair to the people that don't do that, but there's never been any, real punishment that I can see for it, even in the most extreme and obvious cases where someone bots up to, 10k viewers on Mr. Hoggleberry's, farmyard, barnyard adventure or something, and it's a streamer with 400 followers. Even in cases like that, I've seen they get maybe a temporary suspension, then they're back the next day and still do it again, but make it instead of 10k viewers, it's 400 viewers just to stay at the top. And of course, it's a tool not just utilized by streamers trying to get noticed in a very saturated market, it's also been a tool used by some of the biggest streamers on the platform.
Yeah, I mean, of course, he's on Twitch. It's real. There's no view bots or fake bots on Twitch, dude.
You should start view botting, Matt.
Dude, actually, I've been thinking about suggesting view botting to a lot of people because they don't do anything about it. There's countless streamers on this platform. Some of the top 10 streamers on this platform just view bot. Just do it. Fuck it.
Now, of course, Shroud's just taking the piss here, but he's expressing frustration at how common it is and how there is seemingly no consequences for it, so why wouldn't everyone just view bot? Even though a lot of them are. Ask any, big streamer, except for the ones blatantly view botting, I suppose, about how rampant this issue is, and all of them will tell you the same thing. That a ton of people at, the upper echelon of Twitch viewership are view botting as well. It again is not just reserved for smaller streamers trying to break out by artificially inflating their numbers. It is just super common and everybody knows it. But everyone also knows that there hasn't really been any effort from Twitch to stop it. It really feels like there is nobody at Twitch headquarters that gives a fuck about this subject at all. It seems like at best Twitch has one dude, the intern Eric, who goes through manually and sometimes bans a handful of bots for maybe an hour and then calls it a day for the bot detection and stoppage program. It's just been out of control. But in an unpredictable surprise, yesterday Twitch actually made an announcement that they're going to be doing more to crack down on view bots and combat it. I'm a little doubtful on that, to be honest with you, but I guess we'll see. We're going to go over the statement here in a moment. They've had a huge problem wrestling with view bots forever, but you know who hasn't had a problem wrestling? Me. With bad hygiene. I went in there and gave that shit a knuckle sandwich with our soap, Cheeky. Cheeky's the best soap in the universe, and I just wanted to put something on your radar. Right now we're doing a special promotional with one of our partners, Giga. She just debuted her new 3.0, and we wanted to celebrate by giving 20% off to anyone that uses her code at usecheeky.com, and we're also donating $1 for every bar of soap sold using her code to the Immune Deficiency Foundation. Just a little something we wanted to do after everything that happened with Fee Shoujo and Iron Mouse, so I just wanted to put that on your radar real quick. Anyway, this is Twitch's statement. They said, a quick update on view counts. We have teams and tech dedicated to ensuring that the views that show up on channels reflect actual viewership and aren't artificially inflated in any way. Ultimately, metrics on Twitch should represent the real and growing communities that show up and participate on channels, so we regularly update detection tools and methods. So I'm a little doubtful on how regularly they update those detection tools and methods because they are not efficient at all. They are terrible at doing the job that they are designed to do with stopping view bots. I would have actually preferred if they just came out and said, hey, we haven't taken view botting seriously on this platform until now. Now we're going to get serious about it. Because right now this just reads as, we try, but we're just bad at it. We have teams and tech dedicated to it, they just can't do it very well. So it doesn't inspire a ton of confidence with how little effect they've had on view bots, despite apparently regularly updating their tools for it. Recently, we made changes that meaningfully improve our ability to identify view bots, inauthentic viewership, and other potentially fake engagement. These changes will roll out over the next few weeks. So, if your channel was view botted, or if some of your viewers are artificial or inflated, you'll see an impact on your channel's view count. This also means that third-party sites that publish unverified Twitch view counts are going to see changes to that data over time. We recognize that view botting can be out of the streamer's control, and making these changes, our goal is to improve the experience for both streamers and viewers. Now, there is something I'd like to mention with this approach to announcing this. I am a little curious why they would announce this before actually doing something. Why not take action first and then explain later? Because right now you're giving viewbotters and the third parties that make the viewbots ample time to try and find ways around potential detection tools, or the streamers coming up with like excuses like, no, it must be someone else viewbotting me. Like, it's just giving people a lot of time to try and skirt this. I don't know why they wouldn't just implement these tools first, let them take action, and if they work really well and people do see drastic changes to their viewer numbers because of eliminating so much of the artificial bloat on it, then you could come forward and explain why. I feel like that would have been far more effective. Like, I don't really love the approach to like making this announcement like, here we come, we're taking down the viewbots, before actually having done that. Now, admittedly, this is still like the most we've got from Twitch in what feels like forever about viewbots and how they're going to do something about it. So it all sounds well and good that they're finally making what seems to be more of a priority out of this issue and trying to stop it. Like, they also recognize that sometimes it's not always the streamers that viewbot themselves. It could be a viewer doing it to try and get the streamer in trouble. But that never really works because Twitch doesn't give a fuck about viewbots, or at least historically it hasn't, so that never really amounts to anything other than just, once again, the stream being inflated with artificial numbers. But, like, at least the statement is them addressing the issue and saying that they are working and cooking up new ways of trying to stop it. And I hope that they're very effective. I just have my doubts about it, is all. Because as they mentioned, apparently they've already had all these tools and stuff, but they don't work super well. Unless they've had like a drastic overhaul and have really prioritized stopping this, I'm very curious to see the impact it has on viewbots. And I'm not saying it's like an easy problem to solve or anything. Obviously, it hasn't been mastered and perfected by any other platform either. There are viewbots out the wazoo across the internet in general. So like, I understand that it's not just Twitch, but I think Twitch has kind of ignored it for a long time without taking it super seriously, despite it being a pretty big issue. I would love if they were correct here that there is going to be like some sweeping changes to view counts where now it's no longer inflated and it's harder for creators or viewers to try and artificially boost a stream with bots. I hope they do actually have some good like tech in place to stop that. I don't put a whole lot of faith in it. Twitch has become notorious for putting out statements like this with like these big changes that are coming that don't really amount to anything. Like, they don't actually really do much to change things that they talk about, at least historically. Now, that's not speaking in an absolute there. There have been times where they put out a statement like this and there has been big changes, obviously. But for this one in particular, I really get the feeling this will be another one of those things where they make a hoopla about like what's coming and what they're about to do to improve something. And then, you know, a few weeks down the line, it doesn't really change much. I hope I'm wrong. I hope when this fully rolls out over the next few weeks, we do notice a huge hit to viewbots on the platform. That would be great. I'm just a bit doubtful of it. And I think a lot of streamers that do viewbot are probably going to take this as like a warning to stop making it so obvious, because even their most brainwashed of followers will see like, oh, this streamer was once at like 2,000 average viewers, now they're down to 200. That's weird. What happened here? And then they'll hopefully connect the dots in their head like, oh, they must have been viewbotting this whole time, which of course is a really bad look for the streamer. So I'm assuming even just putting out this notice here is maybe going to help with some of those streamers that do actively viewbot. They might kind of put the brakes on it themselves a little bit to try and avoid, you know, suspicion or something perhaps. Either way though, I'm glad they're at least trying, or at least seeming like they're going to try. It's about time. This is long overdue. Now, Dan Clancy also made a statement about this, going into a bit more detail. He said, as highlighted in this recent Twitch support tweet, we just updated some of the code that we use to detect and eliminate viewbots. I wanted to quickly follow up on a few key points regarding the recent update to our viewbot detection. First, I want to be very clear that we always try to detect and eliminate viewbots. However, doing this in a manner that does not eliminate real viewers can be tricky. While I know for some of you it has been frustrating, we wanted to take our time to make sure we were not inadvertently filtering out real users. Second, I wanted to highlight that bots come in all shapes and sizes. Sometimes streamers may be actively working with third parties to inflate their numbers. In other cases, the bots may be used to harass streamers. We don't want either type, because average concurrent viewers is intended to be a measure of the people that are watching the streamer at any given point in time. As is always the case, detecting viewbots is a bit of a cat and mouse game as third parties work to avoid our detection. We will continue monitoring and make updates over time to improve our viewbot detection system. Now, as I mentioned, I recognize that it is not a simple problem to solve. The solution isn't very easy, but it really has felt over the years that this wasn't something Twitch ever really had a big concern with. Until now, I suppose. It's nice to hear that they have been trying to do things on the back end for a while to detect and eliminate viewbots. It sucks that it hasn't been that great. There hasn't been a whole lot of, juice from the squeeze there because viewbots are still a rampant issue on the platform. But hopefully whatever changes they're rolling out here are robust and effective. Like, all I can do is hope. I'm just a bit doubtful given the history of Twitch. Anyway, though, I'll stop yapping about it. I guess we'll see if the viewer numbers across the platform take a huge hit here when this all rolls out. I will tell you, if they work well, if these tools are actually really strong, there should be a pretty significant decline in viewership from tons and tons of channels across the platform. So, we'll see. We will see. That's really about it. See ya.